Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Headmaster's Homeroom. I am Lady Hamilton, and happy Saturday night. I'm so glad to see all of you here tonight joining us on this wonderful, wonderful evening. So let's start by saying hello to all of our wonderful guests out there and viewers. We're so excited to have you guys join us. Hello, everybody on Rumble. I see many of you guys are there, man. 12, 13, 14. You guys are climbing over there. Nice to see you. Hey, Shelly Rose, Frosty, Nancy, Cask, and more. Make sure you guys drop in and say hello. Hey, hello, everybody on Pilled. You guys got the memes already flying. Yeah, I love books too. You guys are going to be in for a real treat tonight. Hello to everybody on YouTube. Nice to see you guys. Oh, that's so awesome that you guys are back. Many viewers over there as well. And hello to everybody on X, streaming on all 4 channels tonight. So I'm so glad you guys have joined us this evening. Make sure you do me some homework here. Don't forget to hit those like, follows, and shares. We want to share out every single one of these shows because our guests are always bringing the greatest information, the amazing talents, and some absolutely awesome shows. So make sure you hit those likes, follows, and share. And thank you guys. We absolutely love your support with your rants, your subscriptions, your cash apps, your tips, and all the pills in all their forms. I just want to say ahead of time how grateful I am. So make sure you guys are hitting those buttons, and thank you guys for your support, and keep on supporting the show. I appreciate it. Well, it's Saturday night. And if anybody doesn't know this already, we have an amazing group. It's called the Artist Corner. Yes, we do. It is on 3 different platforms now. It's on Truth, it's on X, and it's on Pilled. So make sure you guys go and join them. I was able to recruit our guest tonight because I love authors. I love artists of all kinds, guys, whether you are a painter, a sculptor, a poet, an author, a seamstress. I mean, you guys, you name it. Photographers, musicians, we love you all, and we love to celebrate you in the Artist Corner. So every single Saturday, guys, we shout out an Artist of the Week. So let's load that up and give a huge congratulations to our Artist of the Week this week. Oh, man, it's absolutely amazing. This artist is phenomenal. Round of applause. He does these minis that just blow your mind. I believe this is like a 2-inch by 2-inch. We love our TJC Works. You guys make sure you're giving him a follow. You can follow him on Truth and on X at TJC Works. You are our Artist Spotlight of the Week. We're so excited to have you in our wonderful Artist Corner family. And I was just amazed at this little tiny masterpiece. So congratulations again to our wonderful Artist of the Week, TJC. We love having you in our family. And thank you so much. Your work is phenomenal. All right, everybody. We are so excited for tonight. I don't know about you guys, but I am so excited. Hey, new viewers, I see you guys go joining. Right, congrats to TJC Works. Thank you guys for shouting that out in the chat as well. Tonight, you guys are going to be so excited because we have some great authors here tonight. Super excited about them. Let me introduce you and give you a little background to who they are. Tonight, we are joined by Jason West and Elizabeth Wolz. They are a powerful people that are making amazing children's books. They have a great life experience that both shaped their storytelling and their mission. Jason is a United States Marine Corps and Air Force veteran, as well as a retired state correction officer. He brings a unique perspective rooted in service, resilience, and compassion. With a Bachelor of Science degree from California University of Pennsylvania, he's also dedicated much of his life to family, raising 2 children and fostering 6 others. These experiences have ignited his passion for writing children's books that inspire, uplift, and speak to the real-life challenges that young readers face. Elizabeth joins us tonight, too, with a heartfelt commitment to protecting and nurturing childhood. Coming from a large family herself and having volunteered with children across the globe, she is deeply devoted to creating safe spaces, both online and offline, where kids can simply be kids. Beyond her work as an author, Elizabeth is actively involved in advocacy and anti-trafficking efforts, using her voice to make a difference. Together, they combine their experiences and passions to create meaningful stories that empower youth, offering not just books, but a vision of hope, safety, and imaginations for the next generation. Everyone, please do me a favor and welcome our guest tonight to the stage. Hello. Hi, Jason.
Hello. Hi.
How are you doing tonight?
Nervous.
Well, it is super, super simple. I mean, we make things so easy here at the wonderful show. But I am so honored that you joined us tonight because it is just so fantastic what you guys are doing. I'm going to let you talk a little bit about you. I know I gave a pretty good description, but you come from a life of service. So, number one, thank you for that. I also have fathers who are retired military, 35 years in the service and Navy. My mom was in the Air Force, so I have a deep commitment to that as well, and for protecting our streets. So huge thank you and major gratitude for you for that. And I can't wait to talk to you guys because we already have so much in common. But I found you on X, and you guys, these children's books just pop. And I was like, I got to get to this guy on the show. I've got to get this promoted. So if you want to tell us a little bit more about you, anything I might have missed, Jason?
I mean, you gave everything pretty condensed, but yeah. So yeah, I was in the Marine Corps. Spent 4 years in the Marine Corps. I got out. I joined the Department of Corrections. And then normally when people get out, they end up missing the military, which I missed it. I wanted to go back in, but I couldn't go back in active duty because I was starting my career in corrections. So I joined the Air National Guard. Which in the Marine Corps, I had a secondary MOS. I was military police. So I was able to pretty much walk right into the Air National Guard and start working. Did that for 6 years and just spent the rest of my time in corrections. I have
Amazing.
one biological son. And then at the time, I'm currently divorced, but at the time, me and my ex-wife couldn't have kids anymore. And so we're like, well, we can adopt, but everybody, there's so much money to adopt a kid nowadays. It's crazy. So the next
Right.
step, we're like, well, we'll just foster kids. And we signed up to do the emergency fostering where they can call you any time of the day or night and say, hey, we got a kid here. They need a home. So yeah, we've had brothers and sisters, had, one kid stay a few days. And well, my daughter, we fostered her for, it was about 4 years before we were able to adopt her.
Right. I know about them.
So she's 10 now. And since then I've retired from corrections, and moved out to Colorado recently.
Beautiful state. Crazy.
Well,
beautiful, but crazy.
I moved from Pennsylvania where it was snowstorms and everything. I'm going to go to Colorado. It's going to be nice. And it was nice for a week. And then last night it snowed.
Really?
And I talked to people back in Pennsylvania. They're saying, 70 degrees here today. So yeah, just moved
craziness.
to Colorado. And I, along with writing, I got a part-time job. I'm a non-medical emergency transport person. So I go pick up elderly and people require wheelchairs, and I transport them to their appointments.
Nice.
But
wow.
Yeah, that's what I got going on right now. That and spending time on X.
Right. That's where I see you. I say good morning to you every morning, so I know.
Mm-hmm.
But just to give you something easy and let you know exactly how much we have in common, I cannot have children either. For a long time, and I was, crazy in the profession. I was a chef for over 20 something years. And I did this, I really wanted to, go and do something like that until I met my husband, and a major person into giving service. I've always been service oriented. But in one of the first things he kind of asked me, it's like, so what do you want to do for service? And I was like, okay, we had a big kind of ranch up in northern Arizona, and I had semi-retired after selling my restaurant and building ones for others. So we decided the same thing, to foster children. Right. And so we were medically fragile is what we were labeled at, but also emergency. And I had one teen before that, not for very long though too, but then I got my 3 children here that had been through the horrors of the trafficking. That's where this comes in as well too. I was like, are you kidding me with this? And medically fragile, they have an illness that only 13 people have. They were not only, it was unbelievable. They were so fragile. They basically, it was an emergency situation. They called me. I came and got the children. And they basically said, especially my oldest, the son who's the most affected, he's like, oh, they're pretty much at the almost at the edge of dying. And so kind of good luck. Here's your bags of medicine and good luck. And after several years of this foster system and seeing him even getting tortured during visitations and what they were doing, and the CPS people I was going through so many different workers and so many different, they had supervision, so the supervisors, and watching them just kind of leave and letting these kids get hurt even on the visitations. I mean, it was horrible. Right. Journaling all this nightmare and stuff like this, but now they're all here. They're all are not here. They're all in college now. I mean, this has been several years, but, so I am a huge advocate for trafficking. It just led into this. Not only did I know this, about this, but reading into their past and reading into this world of this nightmare, and especially here in the United States with how many children, literally our children, go missing every year, let alone the world. Right. So I decided, because they were so fragile, it was unbelievable. I was like, okay, so, I couldn't really even ever leave them. They couldn't, you had to find special babysitters. Like, yeah, right. By the way, here's the 3-page list that you have to, do. So that was hard to do, but I needed an avenue out every day. So I started going to college, and I decided to use my painting and my voice to kind of tell these stories, just kind of like how you have taken your thoughts and your experiences and channeled it into books and into illustrations. I mean, a way to tell a story or tell a history about these kind of experiences, and to bring a better world to our children, because these kids, my son couldn't even raise his head. He couldn't walk. He was, 25 pounds at 7. It was unbelievable, the torture they had been through. So that's when I say we have so much in common already because of these experiences. It's unbelievable. And how much you can change a world, with these children through, being a light, being an example, giving them love, and then continuing on to encourage and inspire others through one of my favorite subjects, literacy. Right. Because after all of this, I opened up a school. I did all these kind of crazy stuff. Right. Because I'm like, these kids out there, they don't even know how to read. Right. They're all confused. Yep. It's just so bad right now. So when people like you and so forth and more stand up to do great things for our children of our nation, I am just so impressed. So first and foremost, thank you for all that you've done with children and with your pathway, because it sounds absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. Go ahead.
Like, I couldn't even imagine where my daughter would be right now. When we got her, the police had found. She was 6 months old. She was laying on the living room floor for hours. The mother had just came back from buying drugs. But yeah, same thing. She had her back of her skull was flat from laying on the floor so much. She was dirty diapers. And fostering kids really open up you. The kids are already vulnerable. They're going through a hard time, and fostering them, and especially wanting to adopt them, you got to make yourself vulnerable, because you could have these kids for a month to up to 4 years, and they could end up having to leave.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. I truly understand that too. The hardest part was going through 2 years of visitations, knowing that this stuff was happening, and watching the kids literally like lose their minds and just scream bloody murder to go, and then having come back and recording the bruises, recording the traumas, recording all this. I would just pray and cry. My husband's like, he's never seen me beside myself for those 3 hours or whatever. I would just sit there and just cry and pray and cry and pray, because it was terrible. And yet 2 years of this before they finally, severed the rights and said, okay, we need to find somebody to adopt them. And then they couldn't find anybody. And like, would you like to? I'm like, they've already been with me for 2 years. I absolutely love these babies. But yeah, they found these kids. They were starving. My daughter at the time, she was like 4. She was like searching for food and stealing food just to feed them. They were in a place where it was just like they had no heat, no food. It just was like a dump, literally. Bugs everywhere. My oldest and the youngest were both in diapers. My oldest being, 7, still in diapers, and just had so many illnesses. They were on the verge of death. And then you have to deal with the trauma. My kids, when they would even color, everything was just black. There was no light in their life. They obviously don't trust. I don't know if they'll ever recover from the whole trust situation because of their, first round of life. And you have to just deal with this and how they act out because they don't trust you. They don't trust adults, so now you're dealing with behavior issues on top of it. It's not an easy task at all, but it is definitely a godly task, right? You're like, okay, here we go. But, they don't tell you. I mean, you go through the training, but you don't really understand until you get the kids. You're like, okay. And this, you never know when something's going to ignite them or they're going to remember. The trauma repeats. It's really heartbreaking what these children go through, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Right.
Yep. I mean, and when you're doing this, it's not just like I want to foster. I mean, you have to go through all these classes. You got to have home checks. I mean, there's a lot you got to go through to be able to do stuff. But I mean, it's definitely rewarding to get them out of the situation and providing a good home for them.
Right. Mm-hmm. It is. I actually wish that most parents in general would have to kind of go through these classes, get a little bit of preparation as well. I was like, I had to go through all of this. I'm like, how come normal, people don't have to go through this, but it's a preparation, but you have to realize you're dealing with damaged children. And they need special attention. So it's the hardest thing I've ever done, but probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, besides marrying my husband and finding him, but having that strength to go through it together. But other than that, it was probably the most rewarding thing too. But it is definitely an experience, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. So your kids now, you're still fostering children at this time, or
not any longer. My son's actually in college right now.
Nice.
What's he
studying?
He's undecided right now. He goes back and forth. So he's on a second semester. He's just getting all the general stuff out of the way.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I say too, I don't even know what I want to be when I grow up yet. So I mean, it's okay if you don't know.
Right. Yeah. I'm the same way. I went from being a chef and then into the foster adoption mother. And then, I'm over here opening and running a school, going through all these, I went through college, went through my graduate schools. I'm in my late 30s. And then now to the podcast. I mean, we can switch what we want to do at any time. So it's good that he's just getting generals through. And that's what my son and daughters are doing right at the moment as well, too. Nice. Awesome.
Elizabeth isn't here, but she's here on my phone.
Okay.
So she can join the conversation. I didn't want you to think she wasn't here because she's not here. So.
She's there via phone. I mean, I am really excited about learning about Elizabeth too, because, she works with anti-trafficking. And so I'm going to have to reach out or maybe DM back and forth, because anything I can do to help that, and bring awareness and fight that fight. I mean, I'm always, and you probably don't necessarily know, but I'm always sharing things out about and talking about saving the children and bringing awareness to the situation, because this evil has to stop. I mean, the attack for our children is so bad. It's like from the womb on, the education, the vaccines, do we even want to have them? Maybe we should abort them. And then, hey, you're not born in the right body. I mean, all this stuff. Are you ever just going to be a kid? Are you ever going to just be able? And then you got to worry about trafficking on top of it. Mm-hmm. I've had a few shows gone to the FBI websites where the United States children, they lose 400 to 800,000 a year. Now, how many are runaways or something like that? They might not even be counting, but that's U.S. children. And you're like, we got a serious problem here. We're at the top of the list of the world. And I'm like, this is bad. But I started really learning about that when I got my children and seeing what they went through. I'm like, so it's been a couple decades now that I've been a huge fighter for this. So I'd love to connect with Elizabeth on that. I also want to know, like, how did she get involved in that world?
Elizabeth?
Hi, Elizabeth. Hi. Yeah, we for sure can address this.
Can you hear her? Okay.
Okay. Man, it's such a big topic, and there's so much misinformation about it out there, because there's a lot of nonprofits trying to do like good work around the topic, but also they aren't getting the most up-to-date information. They don't know which groups are like the forerunners. So they share the clickbait headlines or just like things on different social media that's not confirmed by law enforcement of like watch your windshield in the Walmart parking lot. Like, those things aren't, like, there is no actual confirmed police report about stuff like that. Right. Not to say don't be weary at Walmart, but like, you just got to check stuff, right? And so people need to be like cross-checking. I always endorse Exodus Cry and Fight the New Drug as being like two really, really good front runners for information about anti-trafficking efforts and even anti-porn efforts, because or like just education around pornography, because that's the marketing for trafficking of any age. And like, people see stuff in that content and then find a way to source it, and so they are piggybacking off one another, those two industries, and that's how there's such a whirlwind of demand. But Exodus Cry has proven if men stopped buying, demand would plummet overnight.
Yes, exactly. That is my thing too, because I'm always, if you just took down some clients, you know, and I did this behind me, and I have a big piece called Rape Culture that I created, and I did massive research. So all the information is there. It's like a menu. But if you took down some clients, you would start seeing this to trickle, because all of a sudden they're being held accountable. Right. And I'm like, because the traffickers literally are like mules. They're going to keep on bringing in the supply, no matter what it might be. They're going to keep on bringing in the supply. But if you don't ever stop the people who are buying, you know, that's your real issue right there. Go ahead. Continue.
Right. They say that you sell drugs once and then they're gone. You can sell a human 10, 12, 15 times a day.
Yes.
It's horrific, obviously. Yeah. And so very near and dear to my heart, your heart. You and I can talk about this another time for months if you want. Like,
I would, because and I reach out with the Tim Tebow Foundation, and you know, right, all these people that I trust, people that are actually doing things, not only for that, but he does things with, my kids are also disabled, but I love people like that. I've been flashing Exodus Cry's website up here, Elizabeth, so that my viewers can see that website as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
So
you're welcome.
You're actually starting a newsletter too, right, Elizabeth?
I will be. Yep. Haven't announced it yet, so here we are.
Sorry.
Well, you just let me know, and I will help promote that on all of my social medias so that we can get this out, because, you know, saving the children. I mean, I even have a thing here, Save the Children. I always save it because my viewers know I am always talking about this, because this was my life and something I'm just not going to stop fighting for. Yeah.
I was part of a staff, like a very understaffed children's home in another country nearby, with a global nonprofit. And there were pros and cons to the setup, of course, like anywhere. That's always learning and growing and trying to do better and whatever. But I was volunteering with them, and during that, about half of our kids still had family ties, and then the other half were able to be adopted, but they were all at risk, and that's why they were living at this children's home. And while there, several other women on staff and I co-created a local outreach in the like major town where we were, but also we're meeting at least once a week, just the four to five of us, interceding and like praying about the outreaches and ways that we could educate others on staff in the home. And like, even still, that was already like 10, 11 years ago. And like, I'm still out here trying my best to just help and educate. And my page here on X is super suppressed because platforms don't like when people talk about any of this content. And so it's really hard to get awareness and advocacy stuff out there.
That's crazy.
It's very discouraging and draining.
You could post a good morning and get 1,000 views. You post something important and it's like 20 views.
Right.
You know?
Right. Yep. Isn't it insane? And I've seen this too, because I will share my picture, especially with the Epstein things that was coming out, you know, I mean, I could whatever, you know, but where are those people? Where are the clients? And it's not just the, you know, celebrities or the politicians. There are massive clients, you know, all from lower levels to upper levels, you know, usually more rich because they can afford to buy this situation. But then when the protests were happening around the, the country, little pockets, and both sides were showing up, I'm like, okay, time to put my art out there again, right? I'm like, okay, nobody's seeing this art. This is crazy, I'm like, shouldn't we all be for saving our children? I mean, isn't this insane that we're just being suppressed for talking about saving the children? But that goes to show you exactly who and what might be involved and why they want, they don't want their names. They don't want to, talking about that, because it's an ugly, ugly thing that nobody wants to face. And so people don't realize, go ahead. They don't realize, how many people in my show were like, well, we want, and I don't mean any disrespect to any children that are immigrant children, right? Because we have, and they can talk about, oh, we found, 5 here or 10 here or 100 here or whatever they might do. But then nobody realizes how many US children go missing. So I try to bring awareness to that all the time. And they're like, what? What do you mean? But if it's not in your face, like, well, my kids are still here, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm like, yeah, but your kid's friend could just have disappeared. Or you know what I mean? It's like, this is a real problem. And where are they? Where are 400,000 children a year? That's enormous amounts.
It's huge and absurd and terrifying, because every neighborhood has its own Epstein role, but no one wants to talk about it. And if they know who it is, they're obviously not going to snitch, because there goes their supplier. But it's all related because of what we were saying earlier about trafficking is tied to porn, and so like porn consumption, and so every neighborhood struggles with that too. And it's so like the scourge of society. And it's an accelerating issue because dopamine and just the way that brains work, and it's wild. It is wild. But at least there's healing, there's hope. It's just a huge mountain and very discouraging. And that's why we want to put good content out there for kids so maybe they'll be reading our books instead of accidentally stumbling across pornography on their tablets or whatever.
Right. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm a big advocate of getting the kids off of the medias, and bringing back books. And my son, this is a really amazing story. So my son is legally blind, so his vision kind of goes in and out, and eventually it will go completely. But one of the things I taught him while I still could was to read, because I'm like, and working with animals, because I'm like, you can find yourself in another world, of whatever fantasy that might be, and teaching them how to read to escape reality, right? And then talking with animals, because they're never going to tell your secrets. And my girls really honed in on that more. But he loved it so much, it got to the point where if I was going to take anything away from him and punish him, it would be the books. And he would scream, I'm take the toys, whatever, but the books. He found an escape. And he still to this day prefers to read, to the point where he's in college now as a creative writer. Because that's what he really loves, is to go and continue to bring this. I mean, I read to the kids during dinner. I read them to all the time. Everywhere we're like, let's read, we're waiting, we'll bring out a book, because this is so important that kids have, number one, literacy. I mean, the rates right now in education, most of our youth read at a 4th grade level. My husband, who's right, it's unbelievable. My husband was just talking about the medical industry, that normally all medical information is at an 8th grade level, but because of the decline of literacy, they have to lower it nationwide to a 6th grade level. This is alarming. So this is something I promote all the time, is get out, parents, and read to your children. Get them off those screens, get out a book, and let them explore the wonders of life through literacy, right? And literature.
I think a lot of I'm sorry. I think a lot of parents find it just very convenient to here's a tablet, go watch cartoons. You're over there watching cartoons, so I can go over here and do my stuff. It's kind of like electronics have become babysitters in a way.
Yes. And it's horrible. It should never be. I mean, I no disrespect to parents out there per se, but why did you have the kids if you didn't want to spend time with them and be in each other's lives, right? If this is your babysitter now, maybe, we want to think about your priorities, because what are they learning? First of all, they're learning whatever they want to on the internet, but also they're learning that you can't be bothered with them. What does that say to our youth? That you don't want to spend time with them. You don't want to be a part of their world. And I'm not saying it always. You can limit it, but this shouldn't be their total world. They should be able to explore, invent, create, read, and have that wonder of childhood, because it goes by so fast too. So do you want them teaching them, or do you want social media teaching them? Because they're doing a real good job of messing with our kids right now.
A lot of thing about the things on the tablets you might think is innocent, but some of these games they play or some of the, some of the cartoons they watch, like they're teaching them stuff I don't think that need to be taught. Some a lot of the games are like, oh, I'm talking to my friends on the game. Well, that's not your friend. That's some random guy, who knows what he wants to do,
That's right. That's right. You don't know their age. I mean, there's a sense about social media. You can be anybody and anything. You don't really know these people. They're putting on a certain facade, and you don't know. And then a lot of times my son, who doesn't necessarily play, sorry, go ahead.
Kids don't understand that because they don't need to, because they shouldn't have to. And so that's why they get swindled so much the way they do, and then get blackmailed sometimes, and sextortion happens, and like just heartbreaking things because they aren't being monitored, because parents are so hands off, not always, but so much. And that's a reason that we've also been trying to release our books on Kindle versions so that kids might happen upon them.
Exactly.
But I mean, preferably, I like to have a book in my hand. Like I can't sit there and read a screen.
Right. I X is about enough for me, doing the little basic social medias, hellos, good mornings, promoting the show and the art that I do, because I'm also trying to beautify the world so that, people see some great beauty and talent in the world versus just nonstop clickbait, But my son was just talking about, he was reading one of his books online versus he has the books himself. And he's like, so these characters, I know exactly who they are. I've been reading these forever. And I just went to go read online, and his reader, because of his eyes, is reading it. And all of a sudden he says, it had to put in a sexual orientation and make them gay. It's like, they were never gay. What in the world? So they're changing the stories online from the original books and what the character. He's like, who cares about even the gender? I mean, the gender has nothing to do with the whole entire story, but they have to, and that alarmed me. I just show that to me. And he's like, yeah. So they inserted the fact, or a little paragraph with her, to make sure that you knew this person was gay. I'm like, why?
Wow.
You're changing the books? I'm like, wow, just craziness. And our kids are reading this. So bad.
All of our books stay away from anything like that.
Right. Nice. Absolutely nice. And I just love this. So when did you guys decide, okay, that's it, we've got to do books? And how did this journey come about, besides of what we're learning? Obviously we know, but when was that moment you were like, hey, we got to make a difference, and this is what we want to do?
I think we both had a lot of good ideas for stories. And we would just brainstorm different ideas. What can we do? What can we teach in this book? What kind of values or stuff can kids learn from different stories? And eventually we just started writing them. It
was probably mid-November, I think, wasn't it, Jason?
Yeah, I think it was last November. We really didn't know what we were doing. But yeah, we learned. And we're not trying to our goal wasn't to pump out hundreds of books. Our goal was to pump out one every once in a while, but get them in front of the reader so they can enjoy it and learn things. And give the parents time with their kids, bedtime stories, stuff like that, and learning different things, together.
Right.
One thing is, if you notice, a lot of our books are only maybe 30 some pages long. And I like that, because I remember when my kids wanted me to read the stories, okay, we'll pick one. Okay, they're picking one this thick. And it's like, wow, okay. So, this is good. It's a whole, complete story. It teaches you stuff. And it's also, a quick, good story.
Right. I have them up so that we can see samples, so that everybody, I have them kind of ready whenever you want to show them. We can do that too. But, as they get older, approaching the middle school age, whatever, I would start reading chapter books with the kids. And I did this every day at dinner, instead of being on screens. We all sat down at dinner and I would just read to them. And it was so funny because they loved it so much that with, when Halloween and stuff would come, they would want to dress as the characters of the books that we were reading. And that, some of these books I found too, there's a great collection. And this boy started writing these fairy tale books at like 16 years old while he was going through high school, ended up becoming, basically a millionaire and then he still went off to college. Right. But I was like, look, you guys can be whatever you want to. It inspired my son so much that's why I'm saying. And the more luckily he has VR helping him, because he's like, am I going to lose my dream of writing books? They're like, oh, no. We've got the speech programs. They can help you edit. You can talk to it. It will talk back to you. I mean, there are some great things with, AI can help with this. I'm not a huge fan of AI, especially in our education system for especially the little ones. But when you are in college and you want to do some things, it can help you, versus that, or you have the programs that will read to you or write for you and read back to you. So he's kind of excited about that because he was really worried as his eyes get worse and worse. Is am I going to lose my ability to do my passion? And so I think this is really great. Books changed his life, changed his whole life. It's just imagine that, guys, how much. And your passion. I mean, maybe you don't like reading to your kids per se. Maybe you need to read to your kids because if our adult literacy rates are going down, you need to start reading. My husband will talk to you about cognitive decline, but make it fun. Make it something you guys can do together and see their eyes light up. I think it's fantastic.
One thing about all of our books, I know a lot of people like writing books using AI now. They're having AI tell stories, and like on all of our books, you can see we always put created by humans because we don't use AI to write our stories. Right.
That is so important as well too. We need to really, and that's why I really honor. In fact, in my art groups, there's like no AI. I mean, I understand it might inspire you. I understand that it might be fun to make little memes and whatever, but when you literally say I've created this, and you spent 5 minutes we're telling AI to create it, that is so not the same. And then you're taking away from the passion and the work that artists do to create these things. Right. Absolutely. I'm very glad to hear that. I think I want to load up the first one here because I just love this cover. And you can tell us a little bit about these. Oh my gosh, these are great. Okay. This is the Busy Bee, guys. That's the first one up.
So that's actually the latest one we've written.
Nice.
We have fun making all of the covers.
Right.
Who does the covers? Do you guys draw them out? Who's the creator of the artwork?
Both of us.
Nice.
We like make the stories first, and then once we feel the story is pretty close to ready, then we start on the cover. And often I end up being the one designing front and back covers, but he also like has say and input. But the bee one was mostly his doing.
And it just teaches you about the life of a bee, different jobs of a bee, and we try to make it fun,
yes,
so you got like bees that guard the hive, they're dressed in like little police uniforms with a hat. You got the queen bee with the crowns, and you got the ones that clean the hive. So it's like have a bee with a little broom, just teaches them, but it's also,
yes,
cartoonish for kids. You know what I mean?
Love it.
Kind of silly, but also realistic to a point. Educationally.
A lot of kids are scared of bees. And so this kind of teaches them, they can sting, but they have important roles. And what did we see a while back, Elizabeth, that you say was New Zealand? People, they're going through like wiping out the whole bee population on purpose. So this just kind of teaches, like bees are important and this is their jobs, and
That's awesome. One of my viewers has bought this book, and they happen to be beekeepers, by the way.
Oh, okay.
I'm like so excited. But yes, she's like, I bought this book. It's amazing.
So cute. I want to keep bees so bad, but I don't have a place to do it yet.
Right? Oh my gosh, it is so great. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that you guys are in the chats buying it, because you need to, and especially if you got kids or grandkids, you guys. Oh, you need to do this. I'll be sharing out the links for sure, but this is awesome. So go ahead. I love this. Look at this. These graphics. So, not only is there artists as, in so many ways, not only writing these, but literally designing and creating the artwork that goes with this, everyone. There's just so much happy going on in this. And I know we need to save the bees because that's really, truly so many things. Like my husband and I talk about honey, like God's perfect food is one of them is honey on so many factors. And then it literally pollinates everything we eat besides, our fruits, our vegetables, and so forth, right? They're so important, but you can use them medicinally on wounds. You can take it as antibacterials, allergy medicines. He makes a flu tonic that wipes out even RSV with honey. I mean, it's just this unbelievable what the power of the bee is.
And it doesn't go bad either.
No, ever. They're still fine. They found vats. There were 3,500 years old, something like that. Honey was still in there, still good.
Yep.
Amazing. I love that. Created by humans, guys. Look at that. That is fantastic. Oh my gosh. I love that. This is just our little sample here, you guys, but this is a fantastic book telling you about the whole life of the bee. So I'm sure it ends out real well and talking about the production of honey.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Awesome. Just absolutely adorable. Breathe the bee. How cute is that? How long does it take you to come up with a storyline?
We do a lot of brainstorming, and so by the time we sit down to actually write, we kind of know where we want to head with it. But there's sometimes, like, I know I've gotten up before in the morning, had my coffee, and I feel like I wrote like 4 or 5 pages, and just busting it out. And then other times, it might take a week or two. You're kind of stuck on what to write. We have 3 books in progress right now, and they've been just hanging there for a few weeks now. It's like, got to figure out what to write, what to put in it.
Right.
But so anywhere usually between like 2 weeks to a month to put them out. We put them out pretty quick at the beginning because we had all these ideas. But now it's starting to slow down a little bit, but we're still putting them out.
That still sounds like you've got, a whole bunch of you have storyboards that you're going up and for different kind of things that you're going. And how do you I guess once you get an idea, you got to, keep it, and then you just work on it and bring it to fruition, right? So
yeah, we work on it, every once in a while.
awesome.
Elizabeth actually had, you'll probably bring up the Edward Storm.
Yeah.
That's a book that she said she wrote when she was back in junior high.
High school Spanish class. Advanced Spanish is when I wrote Edwin Storm originally.
And she had lost. You said he had lost the script, but we kind of brought it back and worked it out and made a book.
Made it from memory. Yeah.
And I don't have that book up. What is this book called?
Oh, Edward Storm.
Edward Storm.
Yeah, the penguin.
Edwin Storm. Yep.
I don't have that. Is that on your
That's on the author page. Yeah, it's
okay. Give me a second. We'll find it. Okay, go ahead.
So it teaches, about different emotions and feelings that you can have.
There it is.
Pretty much the penguin experiences like an anxiety with, panic attack and have things like everything's going good for him. And then all of a sudden, something happens that makes him, experience anxiety and how he handles it. And how everything, works out in the end.
Okay. Yeah.
Now
yeah.
In their bodies with big emotions that it won't end you. You can just take a breath, take a beat, and then circle back to the issue, and emotions will process and life keeps going, and it's all going to be okay.
And kids need to learn this stuff, and especially with, being the foster parents and stuff. I mean, you get kids that might have certain problems and stuff. And I think these actually, help them deal with and cope with those problems.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. I mean, they come already, guys. So think about that. They've already learned not to trust adults. So they come with reactive detachment disorders. They come with PTSD from the trauma. They come with ODD, attention deficit, because they're not getting these things. And it's so important. I mean, when you have a child that, and you're raising a child that they need, you go attend to that. That builds this trust. And when you break that, they are just already so wounded. And you're absolutely right, Jason. And they only, on that sample, it only let me show the cover. So if you want to show more about Edwin Storm, you can.
So, show a couple. So pretty much the story takes place. The stuff has already happened to him. So it's him sitting down with some hot chocolate or some coffee or whatever, and telling the story and how he handled the situation. So it's not like actually happening while you're reading it. It's him telling the story about what happened to him, what he experienced, and how he handled it.
I love it. Oh my gosh. And you guys did such a great job on the graphics. It's amazing. Oh, that's awesome. That's just awesome. I hope you do. If you had, like, my grandkids would love this. Yes, they would. I mean, like, right, you guys, this is just fantastic. And I was sharing out right before the show. If you're watching me on X, and I see a lot of you are, thank you. I just shared out where you can go and find them. So you can immediately go and check them out right there. We will make sure that all of your links are put into our permanent chats as well. My moderator's already dropping your links in the chats. That is precious graphics. But kids need to relate to that too. If they do well when they see these amazing, beautiful little animal characters. They do really well with that.
And all of our books as well, they're all interactive. Like, they do ask the kids questions.
Yeah.
So keep them involved with the stories. And
that's awesome. You want to share an example? That would be great. And I have, let's see. I have the next one I have up. It's The Wonderful Adventure of Andy and Joy. But if you want to share an example, I would love that. Just one question from the book.
So after Edwin's story, after he tells you everything that's happened, and how he dealt with it, like, there's some pages, like at the end here, it'll say, what are some ways you choose to handle your feelings and emotions? And that gives, the kids time to sit there and be like, well, how do I normally handle if I'm upset? How do I handle if I'm feeling anxious or sad? Or, what are things that I do to deal with those emotions?
That is awesome. Right? Because it's a reflective book, something to help build critical thinking, so that they're understanding, okay, I this is a great story, but it's I love that it's so interactive, because that makes them a part of the story as well too. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I'm so impressed.
And hearing people, the way people talk about, like, we've had people say, hey, I read this with my child and we really enjoyed it and we really bonded over it. I mean, that's really great stuff to hear. That kind of makes us, pushes us to keep doing them. And
yes, the fact that we even have viewers that are familiar with your work is fantastic. Go write a review. I'm just gonna say, guys, go write a review, help them out.
Let me tell you something. Amazon kind of works in the way like X does. So the more reviews you get, the more they want to push out your work. Mm-hmm. And it's marketing. These marketing books is really difficult. I mean, you could put them up on Amazon. You can't just put them up and just let them go and be like, okay, they'll sell. Right. They want proven reviews from verified users, and the more reviews they get, the more they will recommend your book. Right. Mm-hmm. And I mean, until then, you pay for marketing and stuff, but we've paid for marketing on X. We paid to boost our posts about the books on X. We paid on Amazon.
Is that working, by the way? Is it working, the marketing on X, just on a side note?
When I promote the post, it does get a lot of views, but it really doesn't get any sales. I notice sales are coming from more of the people that I talk to daily.
Okay. I just, I'm friends with a few publishers and stuff like that. And it was not so much a publisher, but he's created one of these like Christian book things too, because he was seeing all of it. He was a publisher and was seeing all these authors get banned on X and so forth, or not on X, on Amazon. So he created his own site called Culture. And so Cross Current, sorry, I might have to put you in touch with them and see if you have another avenue of getting your books there, because that's exactly what he's looking for. Is great, all kinds of wonderful, wholesome books. So just FYI, I'll just reach out to you afterwards and I'll DM you that information and give you an introduction, because anything you can do to help the children and get your books out there and get them sold, I think that would be awesome. And we don't want you suppressed. You know, another thing too is every day in my art group, you know, that's why I always say you guys got to post in the art group, because then it catches my attention. Because you could post a picture of your book and tell a little bit about it, you know, and if for me, a little bit about, oh, I designed this to make a happy little bee, but you know, you can do that and put your link at the bottom. And there's so many of us artists that share out the work every single day. So anytime you guys want to drop that into the Artist Corner group, that, you know, we'd be happy to share that out, because now thousands could be seeing it if we all share. Okay. Right. Love to. Are you on any other social medias besides X?
I have an author page on X. I have an author page on Instagram too.
Okay. Okay. All right. So if anybody's out there on Instagram, make sure that you find them there as well. I don't do Instagram, but I do X, Truth, Pilled, Gab, anywhere I can help you guys go.
I mean, honestly, I don't really do Instagram either. I'm on there trying to promote our books. That's why I have Instagram.
That's right. That's right. But I know a lot of my viewers are. So go find them on Instagram, help and share out their stuff. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. So tell me about this one, because I think this is probably one of my favorite titles, especially with what's going on with our kids thinking that they were already born wrong. Right.
Right.
And I love
this. Is the second book.
Okay.
This is the second one we wrote, which is a standalone book. But it just teaches you, like, you know, everybody's unique. Everybody has their own strengths, and everybody's special. And, you know, God made you the way that He intended to make you. So it goes on, you know, to give examples of, like, you know, you're athletic. Well, what can I do if I'm athletic and brave? Well, you know, well, maybe you can play in sports, you know, and if you're not great at sports, but you like being silly, maybe you can be a comedian. You know, everybody has their own strengths and own character. And
that's right. That's right. And you know, that's the thing too, is because we can be anything. In fact, when I was teaching my second grader, when I had my school, you know, she wanted to be a fireman. And so they start kindergarten. They give her, you know, all these books. It was like, what is it? It was some kind of queer theory kind of book. That it's like, what? And they told her, you know, we want to put her on medication, plus on an ADHD medication. And she was just like, Mom finally said, no, we're not doing this. And I'm like, what is this all over? And she's like, because heaven forbid she want to be a fireman. I'm like, so why is it being a fireman means that you can't be a girl? Why does that mean that you can't dream? You really think a 5-year-old is going to keep that she wants to be a fireman for the rest of her life? Probably not. The next day, she's probably going to want to be a fairy. The next day, she's probably going to want to be, you know, a zookeeper. I mean, who knows? You know, that's the whole point about being a kid.
And we should teach kids to have dreams and goals and stuff like that.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
I mean, why say you can't be a fireman just because you're a girl? You know, if that's your dream, that's your dream. Let them have their dreams.
Exactly. And, you know, who are we? But no, we want to drug you. We want to make sure that you get changed. I mean, this is so much is wrong with our school system and our society here with our youth. You know, they need to explore. And, you know, there is a time. I always say, not that I'm in agreement, but if you want to go change who you are, hopefully you've grown up, you've done the research, and you go to you. You live in a free country, whether I like it or agree with it or not. But to do this to children while it's shaping and forming their minds is just criminal.
Yeah, those are not the things they need to be being taught right now.
No, they need to learn how to read. They need to learn how to use that creativity. They need to dream. They need to get their foundations, you know, but they don't want critical thinking. You know, they don't want any of that because you're going to go against the narrative. And that's just, I've never seen anything pushed so hard in my life. Absolutely crazy. So this is awesome. And I love this book, guys. It was literally called I Like How You Are. And I love the choice of the color that you chose. I'm sure that was on purpose, right?
Where do you mean?
The
Oh,
kids are
yeah.
dressed in a rainbow color, which I think that's really attractive because the kids do love rainbows, but let's take that back. Right? That's awesome. Amazing. That's right. So great. I'm loving the comments. Thank you guys so much for your comments and compliments, right? I agree. Yes, the children are our future, and we need to literally, make sure that they have one of their choosing and inspire that. When I was teaching, believe it or not, I taught in a public school for a little while, and I had teenagers, right? And nobody had told them, first of all, that I believe in you, that you're possible. Nobody was showing them that they could go do anything and, create anything that they want to. They're just like, what? I just, go stay in the hood kind of thing. It was so sad because I'm like, do you know how many scholarships there are for trade schools? Do you know how many scholarships there are for colleges? Do you know that you don't even have to wait for that? And let me teach you how to do your own business. So I was teaching them business plans. I'm the art teacher. And I'm like, showing them all these avenues. I go, where are your counselors? Where's your advisors? And like, they never talk to us about this. I'm like, this is just so sad. We should be harvesting and just really encouraging our children to do anything that's possible. I love the I am possible attitude. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, do you want to share anything about that book or any images from that book, Jason?
Do you have anything to share, Elizabeth, from this one?
For I Like How You Are You.
Yeah.
There's a page towards the back that talks about just letting emotions exist and about how that's wise and shouldn't be like demonized. I think that's a really subtle page, but very important.
Oh, look at
one
how
here.
beautiful that is.
It says, while emotions do not lead you, you are wise to allow their presence. God made you the way you are, and you're very precious. And he goes on to say, there's only one you, and I like how you are you.
Oh, I love that. So you know what? Tomorrow's Sunday, and we usually have a running theme of always sharing artwork that has to do with something with the Lord. You should take a picture of that and put that in there. We'll help promote that book for sure. But that is such a precious picture. I love it. If you want to do that, that would just be great. How amazing. How long does it take you guys to draw these out? And how do you do it? Do you do digitally? Do you do this by hand?
Digitally.
Digitally. Nice. How much fun is this? I hope you guys know I'm like totally geeked out about your books. I think these are phenomenal. Teach them to read. Oh, okay. I've got the next one up. Let's see. Oh, that's not the one. Okay, this one. Oh, tell me about this one. I think it's The Wonderful Adventures of Andy and Joy. Now, there's several of this series, right?
Yeah, the first one is Welcome Home.
Okay.
The second one's A Day at a Park. But what ended up happening is we were thinking, let's use the same cover, but just change, the wording, the Welcome Home. This one's A Day at the Park. And people were seeing these and were like, well, I already got this book. And they weren't realizing that this was a part two. So that the newer books are going to be, for the Day at Park, it's going to be them, and it's going to have a park background.
Nice. I had to go grab that one here too. So yeah, I can see there's a little bit of difference, but how cute is this? Andy and Joy, and I'm assuming they're siblings.
Yes, the Welcome Home one. Andy's the only child. They're gonna have their mom's gonna have a baby. And it just tells a story about how excited he is, what happens when they, he considers it their first adventure. And they go to the hospital and how excited he is, and a couple things happen at the hospital, and it's just like the bonding experience with becoming a brother and bringing a sister home.
Oh my gosh, that is so great.
And so we started this as a series so they can go on, adventures together. And it teaches about sibling bonding and stuff. I know kids. I know my kids, like, they'll be fine sometimes, but then they argue a little bit and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, they're like, "Oh, I love you," stuff like that. And it just teaches that you can't have fun with your brothers and your sisters and go on adventures together. And
right. That's awesome. That is just, I love the artwork in this. You guys did so great with this too. Look at this little family. This one's from The Wonderful Adventures of Andy and Joy. Look at that. How cute. You guys did so well. Man, yes, I'm enjoying that sample. Go to the store to see purchasing options. Yes, I'm enjoying the sample. I can't wait to see more.
And then we started with this sizing, and then after a while we're like, well, we want to make it a little bit bigger. So most of our books are going to be coming like this from now on.
Yeah.
Versus, the smaller version.
Right. How awesome. That is just so fantastic. We got to get you guys everywhere. You want to share anything from one of the stories there?
So the day at the farm, Andy and Joy go to the farm, or go to a farm, and then they see a bunch of different animals. There's facts about some animals, and it just tells you, shows you what sounds they make.
Oh my gosh. I have a funny story about that.
So like right here, there's, the chickens and stuff, and
right.
And it's this little fact, like I found some chickens, do you know that chickens are said to be related to dinosaurs? Like, I don't know. I think kids would find that cool, that, wow, I didn't know chickens were related to dinosaurs.
Awesome. No, right? And that's just bringing some amazing, history to them as well, too. So that they get a little bit more than that. That's awesome, because they're going to say that, too. Yeah, I had no idea.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it just goes through various different animals and the sounds and some, short facts about them. That's
awesome. Now I got a little funny story. So when I was teaching my kids, when I got them, I had a farm. Well, not on purpose farm, but I had these a lot of acres in northern Arizona, and people would drop off animals, which is a different story. But they drop them off, hey, they can survive in a forest, basically, right? No, so animals would end up wandering onto the farm all the time, or the ranch. I ended up with like 25 different animals: horses, chickens, dogs, you guys, pigs, a turkey. I mean, it's just like I became the zoo. But anyways, long story short, I'm teaching my kids, about animals, and we're reading some kind of story, about animal sounds. And my littlest one, she was like 3 at the time. And so my horse was very much like Mr. Ed. He would smile. She's a Palomino, and she'd smile like this. And so it would say, the horses say neigh. And she would just laugh. She goes, horses don't say neigh. And so my horse would laugh, right? And so she would always go, ah, like that. So she did that. She goes, horses don't say. And she did that sound. I cracked up so much, but she got so involved with the story. You need to contact them, Mom, because that's not right. I'm like, honey, they can't capture that sound in a book. I really wish, but she put on a full production of what a horse sounds like. But, just even her recognizing that the book said one thing, but I'm like, that is awesome. So that just made me smile with you guys teaching them about sounds. This is so great. Oh, this is so great. Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. And we got a question from the audience. Do you do activity books, or have you thought about that?
No, we haven't thought about it yet.
We had talked about that once, Jason, but just hadn't started it yet. We were thinking of pulling in the different characters from all of our books.
That's right.
And doing different activities.
Right. With each character that's in every book.
Okay. Nice.
So some more fun things about the books is you notice, besides the first one, like everything takes place outside. It shows kids that they can go outside, they can have fun outside.
That's right. Yes, that's so important too, is because they start using their creativity and, thinking about that. My oldest daughter, it was hard to force them to go outside and play. They thought it was almost punishment at first. And I'm like, go invent something. So next she's taking cowbell strings or hay bell strings, I'm sorry. And she's building swings. She's, crafting. So I'm like, engineer in the future. So go ahead. I love this.
When I was a kid, I was always outside.
Right.
I didn't want to come inside.
Right.
So if you notice in some of the books, we kind of tie them all together. So like the one at the farm, it has a part about bees. And somewhere in the book, we tie in a bee, like from this book to this book. we have like certain birds that are flying in the book that you'll notice that are in other books. Just trying to tie the stories kind of together.
I love that. That is such a great idea, right? Because they're going to recognize,
Right.
your series of books and
Mhm.
you as authors, that is awesome. That is so cool.
I think the only one we didn't go over so far was the day at the park.
Okay. I did not
Um,
see that. So when I go on here, the day at the park, so I'm on your website and they're only showing me on Amazon. I'm only seeing The Wonderful Adventures of Joy, Andy and Joy, those two. I see I Like How You Are, Edwin Storm, and The Busy Bee. So is this other one somewhere else I need to find?
so are you on the author page?
I am.
Okay. The books, I'm not sure if it's going to show you the same cover. Like, I'm not sure if it's going to show you. I don't think it'll
Okay.
show you this cover.
The author page should have the updated version
updated one?
of
Okay.
the park.
Okay. That's okay. You can show us this one yourself. I'm thrilled. Let's check it out.
Okay. So it's, like I said, the cover's going to be different. They start off saying stuff like, okay, well, our mom and dad told us if we clean our bedrooms, we could go to the park today. And it talks about, they're done cleaning their room and they're off to the park. And it's just showing like them using their imagination while they're doing different swings. Because I remember when I was a kid and I was on a swing, I would always feel like I'm going to swing real high and blast off and just keep going. And then
Right?
that's kind of what like this shows, little rockets on the swing, like they're going to blast off. And then it says, do you like playing on the swings at your local park? And what is your favorite thing to do at the park? So it's still interactive with the kids. And a lot of places have like these pirate ships now. And so it just, they pretend like they're pirates on the ship and just, using your imagination on every ride.
Right. Love that.
And then afterwards, it, has where they go when they relax through the park and they see, animals, or they lay on the ground and they look at clouds. And I used to do that when I was a kid too, look at clouds and see, what kind of
Mhm.
what kind of animals they make.
Right. I love that.
Yeah.
The next one we should do. So yes, it's that dreaming, seeing things and going, okay, that cloud looks like what a butterfly. That cloud looks like whatever, and having that, creativity, that imagination. I think that's fantastic.
And
Love
it does put the parents on the hook to take their kids to the park, because it says maybe tomorrow you can ask your mom and dad to take you to the park if you clean your room. And it says, I think they will agree because parents love a clean room and they love you even more.
Right.
So if you read this, you're probably going to take your kids to the park.
Yes. Right? Let them climb trees. Let them go explore. I've got pictures of my kids all up in the trees. We would go to the park, at least weekly, even though I made them play outside. I'm like, let me introduce you to mud pies, and we did forts, and they had a little service station. My daughters were like, all right. They came up with a little business where they were going to sell their baked mud pies, and I'm like, it was so much fun watching this. I recorded this. I took pictures of so many of these things because it was so important to them to have this stuff, and also to create, not only bravery, but the ability to go, you know what? I did it. I climbed that tree and I did it and I didn't get hurt, so they're also having confidence in themselves, as they're outside exploring.
And I'll see kids at the park and it's crazy because they'll see the monkey bars and they can't do it.
No.
Or they'll try to, they used to go up the slide back. They can't go up the slide backwards. Like they're not used to doing those kind of things. They're not used to being active and climbing trees and jumping and,
Nope. Let's keep them protected. Let's keep them bubble wrapped. Let's keep all this kind of, chemicals on them, because heaven forbid they actually get any vitamin D from the sun. And then the same thing, again, back to the schools. Why are you not, when we were little, don't you remember it was like at least an hour we could eat, we were outside playing, and that was just lunch break, I mean, instead of being in front of a computer and that's just going to totally hurt our eyes, our brains, and letting them to explore and have the wonderful vitamins of the sun and just have fun, right? I love what Cass said. Go ahead.
Kids need adventure. They need imagination,
Yes. Your mission is just fantastic. I am stoked. And this all comes from their wonderful experiences, you guys. So they've taken a situation where they've seen, kids that are really, really in need and ignited it into a pathway for all children. And I'm just so excited. I'm really, really happy you guys are on the show. I don't know. I know you were like, oh, I'm nervous, but I'm stoked. I'm like, because it's
yeah. I'm not a talker, so
no.
I'm just very, very nervous. But
that's okay, because I'll tell you what, I am a talker. So I'm like, don't worry, I'll do a lot of talking. Oh, that's right. Now that everybody's in the chats going, right? See, remember swinging and jumping off. Do you guys, right? Do you remember that? Twisting the swings. Another question. I love Dottie. He's always got questions for me. Do you ever consider making your books into a cartoon film? I don't know. Let's make them famous.
I mean, I wouldn't say no.
Right? Right.
But I think that's a little bit past what I'm able to do. I'm not sure.
Right. We're going to get them there, though, with all of your help. If they get so popular, somebody will reach out. Angel Studios is a great one. They're like, well, yeah, let's, or Kirk Cameron has, Brave Books as well. You never know. You guys are turning these stuff into cartoons.
No, I don't know if any of y'all remember this one, because I don't see them in parks too many anymore. It says the merry-go-round one.
Yeah, I remember that.
When we made this one, like, we were just laughing for a while, because it says, just be careful how fast you spin it, or you can get a little too dizzy. Hang on tight. And I don't know about you, but that was always me flying off of it.
My husband was always the worst too. It's like, let's see how we can spin this thing even faster. The kids are like holding on pretty high.
It's flying off.
Right. Do the kids even recognize those kind of things anymore? I mean, do they even have those in the school or parks now or playgrounds?
I don't see that. I don't see the merry-go-round one too much anymore.
No.
But they do have ones that you can set in. It's just not the big metal type. You just a single person you set in and you just spin around in it.
They claimed those were too dangerous. We got to take those away. Of course they did.
Oh, everything was dangerous. You had metal slides that you just get burnt all the way down,
Right, I remember. Oh, those are the good times. I'm totally Generation X, right? And we're like, yeah, walk it off,
Right.
I remember telling my daughter that she was on we're talking a step ladder, right? What's a maximum? 2-3 steps, maybe. She's on the first step and she falls. She's like, my ankle. I'm like, walk it off. And she teases me still to this day. She's like, how dare you tell me walk it off? I go, number one, I would tell if you were really hurt. And number two, you were only a foot up off the ground.
I remember stuff like, well, are you bleeding? No, well, then you're fine.
That's right. Exactly. That's so true. They need to do this. I love this. So yes, Karen, I see what your comment is. But that whole acting like monkeys, they don't feel confident. Of course they don't feel confident. We wrap them up in bubble wrap, basically, and everything's too dangerous. All the kids have to win a prize because we can't hurt your feelings. You can't, got dodgeball gone. The what'd you just call that? I just totally lost it. The merry-go-round gone, right? Just so crazy. The slides now are all plastic and protected, so you can't. My dad is crazy because when we go to like camping somewhere, there was this one place that had this huge slide. I swear to you, he went and greased it, but he did give us like gunny sacks. He's like, all right, let's see how fast you can go down that thing. Right. But yeah, no, but it's great. I love this. You were making me think of some happy times. All right, tree houses, and that's the same thing too. Like with my oldest daughter, she's making swings and forts and tree houses, and learning number one that this I think is the beginnings of great engineering, which is truly, believe it or not, it's one of her pathways where she's going to explore. All stemmed from when she was 7 years old, and we pushed that, going, her mind is an engineer, and it just stuck. My son into reading and drama, and that reading books to him every day. It stuck, and now he wants to write books. And then my youngest, of course, my husband's a nurse, and so forth. She's all about the medical. So I'm like, see how much we can inspire our kids. I mean, they could have done anything, and that's what I told them. This is your life. It's your dream. It's my job to make sure I show you the pathways so that you can accomplish your dream. But this is your life. Go explore. But it's wonderful things and wonderful people and wonderful books like this that helps them along this way. Just so amazing. What else do you want to tell everybody about your work?
I don't know. Elizabeth, you want to say anything? You want to say anything else about the books?
She's pretty quiet back there. Sorry for talking so much, Elizabeth.
No, it's all good. Reviews and posting on whatever your preferred social media is, if you've read any of them, would help us so much. Gift it to people or just send the link to a friend or whatever. Just like anything to help us get in front of families who need this kind of content would be awesome.
Mm-hmm. You know, I'm so glad you brought that up, because part of the reason those good mornings get so popular is the comments back and forth. Even in a simple X post, by just saying good morning back, I have noticed that all of a sudden this gets further and further attention because of all the comments. So I know I have some people in the audience. If you have bought their book and you see me or you see it going out, put something in the comment or quote it or whatever you do so that it gets more awareness. But also, you know, because the more comments and the more shares and likes and stuff. But for some reason, those comments hold a lot of weight, I've noticed. So let others know. That's a simple way to review it. And then if you have got it from Amazon or something, please go and review these books and help it that way as well.
I mean, you could write the best book in the world, but the way marketing is, I mean, if you can't get it in front of people to read them, you know, they just don't go anywhere.
Nope, it doesn't. It doesn't. And the algorithm is really tricky, and we got to break that algorithm so bad, you know. So this is why it takes you so much help. So we get support and help each other. Like I said, one of the things I'm requesting, and I told you too, because you could post your books and I may never see them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, very rarely. You might post something that, you know, 3 days down the road, I finally see something you posted, you know, days ago. But one thing about having the groups, as soon as you post it, I see it. I get notified. And so therefore, and then all the wonderful people in the group, we are fantastic about, and we're growing like crazy. We have 600 something people over on Truth. I don't know if you have an account there, but we have, you do. Yes. I will find you and get you into the group there, so that we've got 600 something people. That's where we started. 109 now on X and growing fast. But I have noticed that we've got a whole bunch of people that will share it out. And next thing you know, that post now has been shared on 10 different, you know, people's accounts. And this is how we do it, guys. This is absolutely how we do it. Fantastic. I love it. I am so glad that you guys came on. And there's so many things, Elizabeth, that, you know, you just you DM me. And we can talk about helping you out with that pathway as well, because we need to help our children. And it seems like they are under attack on every aspect, on every front, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so weighty and discouraging and uphill, but like, I was just commenting to someone in my comments the other day of like, it's really easy as an online advocate to take on too much responsibility around it when Jesus is the only one who saves. And like, the parents of the children are responsible for the children. Like, I need to trust that they're all doing their best and trying to learn better and like know more and more. But if they aren't seeing active advocates, some just don't have the resources and like don't know what they need to be doing for their kids. And so the more shares of that content too, even on a suppressed page, is always very encouraging as well.
Right. And this is not a new phenomenon. So you have to give some kudos to these parents that are in their 30s and 40s and whatever. They probably don't know this either. And when I talk to my dad, he absolutely doesn't know about this. So you're talking multi-generational that don't know. This has been hidden and suppressed for so long. I mean, I used to tell my mom, and back in the day when my kids were little, we go to Disneyland. She's like, oh, the kids are safe. They could just go run anywhere. I'm like, Mom, this is like a pedophile's dream come true. Are you kidding me?
Right.
I'm like, I was tiger mama. Those babies were always near me. I mean, I wasn't to the point of a leash, you know, but I was pretty close.
Right. Yeah, no, I have had conversations even with Jason. Like, we won't post our kids or nieces, nephews, friends' kids. Like, we just don't post their images online even because you can't control a screenshot, and that's something so often overlooked by caretakers because it doesn't cross their mind because it shouldn't have to, which is so unfortunate.
I mean, you can take that kid And with AI, you could, you can do whatever you want with that picture.
You sure can. And you can find out so much information.
Stuff all the time.
Right. So kids don't. Go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Oh, just that predators do steal screenshots of your innocent images and distort them and share them back and forth. Like, it's been proven, and it's disgusting and disheartening. So, like, really the best way to not get your kid's image stolen is to just not post it anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, and if you're posting like events that your kids go to certain days, I mean, they can look at those pictures and be like, oh, well, they're going to be here at this day because that's when they usually post.
School information, concerts, anything like that.
That's right. And that's the point that I was going to really bring up too, is because your kids also do not know that, they're not talking to stranger danger. They took that out, by the way, too. We used to have like classes all the time, stranger dangers, and McGruff would show up and all these kind of things would wear us, But they don't have that. They think that they are probably talking to somebody that their age and, hey, you got a game? That's awesome. Where do you play? Kids don't know. They don't have filters to be like, oh, well, I play at so-and-so park. Yeah,
Right.
Get them off of social media. At least get it to control where you're watching and you're, whatever. But they don't know. And I see this something too. I'm going to show you a post that I share out. I'm going to share it out of here again, because a lot of people I don't want to share those posts with the scary looking kids that are being hurt. It doesn't have to be that way. This is one I do with just cute little kids, right? They're beautiful of all races here. And it doesn't have to be just about trafficking, but it's included. And this one breaks 385 views on this. We're going to share this out again, but it says other things: protect our children from abortion, indoctrination, chemical laden foods, and child trafficking. I've learned that if we put other things in it, but we highlight all of these, and then a wonderful little thing about every child is divinely special, a precious gift from God, born with purpose. So you guys don't have to share scary things per se to get the word out, but you're still getting the word out. And it's not a huge, this should have thousands, but I'm happy that it even got 386 views. Let's go. I just shared this out, everybody. Let's go make it viral again. Because you got to find ways around this algorithm. And I've noticed that if you show something like my painting or something that's like scary, or a kid that's literally getting hurt, that won't go nowhere.
Yeah. Right.
Sad, but it won't go nowhere. They don't want people saying that. That's right. I agree. AI is evil in many ways. It's a tool. It's just like the computer and the internet. It can be used for great things, but then there's these people that come in and like, how can we design it? And there's the dark web, and there's Tim Tebow just came to the Congress and showed him a lit up Christmas tree of a map of, look at all these people looking at pornography here. And that is a huge start of this. And how many child predators? It wasn't just the pornography, that we're looking at child porn. And this is why they're talking about protect your kids' images, because they are using that in an AI form to put your child in a compromising position in a child pornography situation.
I just seen something like, they're bringing back for movies, like they're having actors come back and they're generating them using AI. If they can generate them acting in a movie in AI, what can they generate your kids doing?
Right. Absolutely. So important. So, if you can just tell me wherever you want to give me, just like I said, a DM, Elizabeth, I will come back to the show and post any kind of web links that you want to, so that we can get out awareness. You could tag me in something as well too. Please do. And I will help share that out as well. Because we got to, whether it's just the books, you can tag me absolutely in that, or whether it's advocacy, you can tag me in that as well too, because this is how we win, right? We support each other, we lift each other up, and we make a movement, right? We break through the algorithm nightmare and start being the light.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that support.
My pleasure. Here's great news. The one who has your book, thank you, Hockey. She is going to Amazon to give you a review. I think that's fantastic.
That's
thank
awesome.
You so much for that.
Thank you.
Right. We need to do it, guys. And it's so simple. Doesn't cost anything to share a post or to write a review, but we definitely want to support them. The Amazon one, if I go straight to your page, and that's a long link. I want to go to your about page, or maybe your all books page.
Yeah, if you go
And
to the author page, you can change the format from like ebook to paperback, and paperback should list all the 6 books there.
okay, I'm going to show this to everybody here too. And I've already put in the permanent chats over here on Rumble, guys. So, and I know that my mods have been putting that in all the other chats as well, but it's permanently over here on Rumble. But you can go here and you can see all the books you can get in all the formats. See, Kindle, audiobook, hardcover, paperback, and
If
I
you
don't know
go
what.
to paperback, that's
Okay.
normally what I have to do, and that.
Okay. Beautiful.
We only have
Look,
them formatted
So
for
right
paperback or Kindle.
Right there's the park one that you said that wasn't showing up.
where?
The bottom left.
This one?
Yes.
Ah, right. The second adventure. See, now that I went and hit paperback, they all popped up. How cool is this?
I don't know. It's kind of like a default. It takes you straight to ebooks instead of paperback.
These are fantastic. I'm so excited to have you guys on. You're welcome back. You please, when you guys do your next round, please consider me, because I want to just come and just highlight whatever you guys are creating and get everybody excited to support you. Oh man, these are awesome. And you just started this, what'd you say, last year?
November.
Just last November, guys. And they have just already, look at this. They've kicked out what, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 books already. Boy, you guys definitely had some amazing ideas, didn't you? Awesome.
Yep, it's a bunch of brainstorming.
Right. I will just make sure I put that back into the chats everybody has. All right. So one thing that I do always say before we say goodnight, we love to inspire others, right? So I just always ask you guys to say, if you could inspire somebody to make a difference in somebody's life, or inspire somebody, if you always thought about writing a book, because, you know, they might think about that, like, oh, okay, I want to write a book, but I was scared to, or I don't know how. So if one of you guys want to answer that one on inspiring somebody about writing a book, and then one about and how would you inspire to make a difference? And you guys can choose.
We didn't know anything about writing books either. And the only way you're going to know is if you attempt it and you try to do it.
Right.
Shout out to my friend who taught us how to make them ourselves, Teresa Fisher. She's a rock star who has taught me so much. Yeah.
Awesome. That is awesome. I just think that is just so great. And see, you guys turn to each other to support. You know, I've thought about it too, and you know, different things. I mean, eventually I probably will write a book, but you know, I always say you're already at a no. That's kind of one of my things I always say. You're already at a no. What do you have to lose? What if it turns out? What if the answer is yes? What if you never know? But if you always stay and do nothing, then you're always going to stay at the no.
I always say, instead of thinking about what could go wrong, think about what could go right.
Exactly. All right. And what can you say to our viewers out there today about what's a simple thing that they can do every day to be a light in somebody's life? Because you guys sure are. I'll tell you that.
I just try to do the possible and then trust that God will do the impossible.
Amen to that. Amen to that. What a joy it has been to have both of you here. Thank you so much for being my guest. I hope you felt comfortable.
Well, I definitely made it longer than I thought I would.
Right? I just love to have a conversation, and I get lit up when I just get to talk about things. Number one, we had in common. Those weren't happy things to talk about, but I knew we had things in common, and I'm excited to be able to continue helping in every aspect I can, but also promote such beautiful creativity and making a difference for our children. I'm so glad that somehow, some way, I found you on X. I was like, this guy's great. And then Elizabeth comes along. I'm like, this is awesome. So you guys lit up my night tonight. And I cannot tell you, thank you, both of you, so much for being my guest.
Well, thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anytime. You guys have a great, great night. And I'll see you on social media. And we are going to get started as much as we can to get that. Oh, one last thing for you guys, homework. Tomorrow is Sunday. Post something in the artist corner. I love that Christ little image, something to get us started. And at the very bottom, it's the only thing I request, because we like a little bit of information, and just put your link at the bottom of whatever you put, and we'll get you shared out immediately. And I've already done it, guys, because Elizabeth was sharing stuff and tagging me, and I was already sharing her books before the show. So you guys go out and make them famous. Help us out. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great night, both of you.
You too.
Take care.
Thanks.
All right. You're welcome. That was awesome. Wasn't that awesome? And they were nervous. I'm like, that's okay. I hope I made them feel great. Thank you, Hockey. I love it. Love it. What could go right? Isn't that a great saying? People always say that to me too. You know, my guests, no matter what, they're always, I'm so nervous. But I have such a great time highlighting and just, relishing on your talents. It absolutely makes my day. Uh, Thank you. Great books for children. That's right, Dada. It was so beautiful. They were just fantastic. And I want to make sure that we do our things, guys, to really help I felt now they're Artist Corner members, right? They're absolutely. Let's go support them like we do each other. And like I said, I shared out links to their books right before the show. So if you're following me over there on X, you guys can see that right on my profile, Lady Hamilton AR1. If it doesn't already hit your stream, but let's do what we can. How awesome was that? All right, guys. So I think that I just also shared out that the Protect Our Children one. I'm thinking, is there anything else that we needed to do? No. Okay. All right. We've done all of our homework except one last thing here, guys. Do not forget to hit these kind of buttons. This is why I ask so much to do this kind of stuff, because it's so much. I love that we're getting people to come to the show. That's wonderful. That is a blessing, but it's really, really important to share out the show and these links for the guests, because they all have amazing stories. They all have wonderful things they're doing in the community. And I really appreciate when you guys do that out and share out their posts. Go give them a follow. And you can see where I've been sharing that out too. So you guys can give them a follow as well. And that makes a world of difference. And together we can do this, right? That's right. Be the light, guys. Let's go support each other. Okay. So let's finish the night off tonight. So tomorrow, another great day. We're going back to the kitchen. There was a request to make short ribs. I've got them marinating. So I'm super excited. I'm going to be working on that tonight to make the videos. Short ribs, mashed potatoes, and amazing caramelized Brussels sprouts as we learn how to eat and cook real foods, bringing the heart back into our kitchens with the amazing things. And yes, I am working on that cookbook. It's so exciting. So that is going to be our show tomorrow. So we're going to be talking about those foods, and also again about removing not only the toxins from our bodies but from our lives. That's going to be how we are feeding our souls tomorrow. So I'll be putting that promotion out right after this show today. So if you guys can help me do that, I appreciate that as well too. You can do that, and you see these promotions by giving me a follow. You can follow me on X at Lady Hamilton AR1. You can also follow me on X, Pilled Truth Gab at Lady Hamilton Art. I appreciate that so much. If you guys can hit that follow over there on Rumble and go hit that follow over there on our YouTube channel, I appreciate that as well. Those are free things you can do. And let's give a huge shout out to our wonderful moderators for helping to promote the show, being in the chats with us tonight, all that they do. We are so grateful to each and every one of them. I cannot tell you how much they mean to me. So let's give them some love as well, starting with our amazing JJR SVL. You guys can follow him on X, Truth, Gab, Pilled, Gitter, and Rumble. We got our fantastic Tri-Stater on vacation. I'm jealous. Let's give him some love on Truth and on X. Got our amazing Nancy. Let's give her some love on X and on Truth. And our fantastic Frosty Pimp. He's been bouncing all over the place, dropping links all over today. Thank you so much, Frosty. You are amazing. Let's give him some love on X and on Truth as well. All right, guys, we're going to be leaving here today with one of our former guests. And we just he was doing some great shows on YouTube. If you guys want to ever see his Eats and Beats and Eats, it was so much fun having him on the show and having him reach out to help him and give him kind of, things forward. And you guys did so great by following him and things like that. And just having him, talking to him today, made me really think about him again. So we're going to be leaving today with one of his great songs, right, from the amazing Kevin Winard. That was a great show. I'm so excited about that. So we are going to jam out to this awesome song tonight on our way out. So everyone, let me load that up. So we are ready to go. Let's face the music and dance. that is just going to be our happiness on our way out today. But thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you guys for supporting me. Thank you for being the best viewers in the world. Thank you so much for doing such a great job and being so cordial and wonderful to my guests tonight. And thank you guys for sharing out my shows, being a part of my world, and most of all, letting me be a part of your world. I will see you guys all tomorrow for the Reset Kitchen as we get down to cooking and we reset our soul with removing toxins. Everyone have a great Saturday night. Don't forget to be the light, and everyone be blessed. I'll see you all tomorrow.
There may be trouble ahead, but while there's moonlight and music and love and romance, let's face the music and dance. Before the fiddlers have fled, before they ask us to pay the bill, and while we still have the chance, let's face the music and dance. Soon we'll be without the moon, humming a different tune, and then there may be teardrops to shed. So while there's moonlight and music and love and romance, let's face the music and dance, dance. Let's face the music and dance. There may be trouble ahead, but while there's moonlight and music and love and romance, let's face the music and dance. Before the fiddlers have fled, before they ask us to pay the bill, and while we still have that chance, let's face the music and dance. Oh, soon we'll be without that moon, humming a different tune, and then there may be teardrops to shed. So while there's moonlight and music and love and romance, let's face the music and dance, dance. Let's face the music and dance.